Excuse me. Hello, everybody. Saturday night, and I'm out by the fire again. I had a nice fire last night, and I had my friend Chris Cunningham come by, and he and I sat here and drank some wine and just kind of got caught up, and didn't do a whole lot today on Saturday. Excuse me. A lot of sinus drainage. And decided I was going to have a fire again tonight. Kind of an interesting thing happened today. I had one side of my garage doors was open, and I come walking around the back of the house, along the back of the house, and walked around the corner of the house to the driveway, and there's a deer standing there, literally about 3 feet away from me, and it was staring inside my garage. It obviously didn't hear me coming, and I spooked it, and it took off up the driveway. So, interesting day. All right, I'm going to do a little wine tasting here tonight. I'm going to do another South Australian wine. It's this one. It's kind of got a cute little name. It's called Baba Bad Sheep. Baba Bad Sheep. I have heard, it's a Shiraz, by the way, and it's a 2023 Shiraz, and I had heard of this wine before. I think I read it, I don't know, several years ago as one of the cutesy names of wines, and Baba Bad Sheep is kind of an interesting name. You might see the smoke in the background there. It's a kind of a smoky fire, so hopefully I'm not going to start sneezing here. So this is a 2023 Shiraz from South Australia, and it is probably going to taste very similar to the Shiraz that I had from South Australia yesterday. They don't seem to vary a whole lot. Australian makes good wines, but I kind of am partial to Australians' white wines as well as New Zealand white wines, particularly the Sauvignon Blancs, because they have such delicious citrusy and melon flavors and everything. So, the reds are good, but I think that part of the world, the famous things that we need to, or the good things we need to look for, are the whites. Okay, so I poured me a little bit here, and let's check this bad boy out. I'm telling you right now, it's got very, very, very good viscosity. It's got very good legs. Hold on a second here. Well, that explains why the legs is so good and the viscosity is so good. It's got a 14% alcohol by volume, which is 30 years ago was an incredibly, outrageously high amount. Now it's pretty much the average of everywhere. All right, so like the Shiraz from South Australia yesterday, this one has good viscosity. It's got very good color. I don't think this one is as deep black or deep red as the one that I had yesterday was, but it's still got a very deep color. This is more on tune with what I would think a Merlot would be like. It's just a shade bit lighter than a Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's got kind of like a lighter ring around the rim of the wine in the glass. By the way, this wine, Baba Bad Sheep, I have seen this in the supermarket, so you can probably find Baba Bad Sheep at some of the local supermarkets, and if you're lucky enough to live in a big city where they have Total Wines and More or a Whole Foods, then I would almost guarantee you'll be able to find Baba Bad Sheep. Oh, that's a mouthful. All right, so let's check this one out, and hopefully you can pick this up yourselves and find it and try it and compare it to this video. Okay, it's got the standard Shiraz aroma, but it's got a spice. The spice seems to be somewhat more overwhelming than the fruit is in this one. Hold on a minute. It's a spice. It's got some pepper, but it also kind of has a sense of sage in there, or perhaps allspice. But it's definitely got an aroma of spice. There's a little bit of aroma of some wood in there, so I would have to guess that this wine is probably aged in oak also. So I'm getting an aroma of spices and wood. There is a faint hint of black stone fruit, like the one that I had last night that I did, the Shiraz from last night. But this one is not as fruity as the one as last night. This one has got, aroma-wise, I should say, it does not have as much fruit on the nose. This one seems to be leaning more toward spices. Let me give it a taste and see how it compares to the one last night. Okay, this one has tannins like the one last night, but the tannin on this is not nearly as heavy as it was last night. If you remember, the one last night was a 2023. This is a 2023, and the one last night had very heavy tannins. And I said the tannins was kind of overwhelming the fruit, and it would take a year or two for that to settle out before it became more of a fruit-forward wine rather than a tannic wine. This one does not have that issue. This one has tannins, but the tannins are not real heavy, and this one has got more of a fruit spice flavor. You could heat this wine up if you were so inclined, which I will not do, but you could heat this wine up during the holiday season and sip it out of a cup, and it would almost be like a spiced wine, which I find is kind of an interesting thing, because I've never seen that happen before. I've never had this happen before on a wine that you drink, that's not made for like mulling spices or anything like this one. But it does have spice to it. Honestly, I'm picking up black cherry very faintly. I'm picking up the spice more than I am the black cherry. Now, saying that, I think it's a very, very good wine. How would I compare this wine to the one last night? I think this one is a better drinkable wine right now. I don't think it's as fruity as, hold on, let me wave to my neighbor who's leaving across the road. I don't think this one's as well, I know it's not as fruity as the Shiraz I had last night, but it's more of a ready-to-drink wine than the one last night. I think the one last night needed to sit around for another year or two in the bottle before it really would mellow out. This one's ready to drink right now. It's a good wine. I would recommend it. What do I think I would pair this with? I'm going to have to tell you, I think that this would be a perfect wine for barbecue. Generally when I try to come up with a red wine for barbecue, I'm thinking of Zinfandels, which Joes are generally recognized as the better wines for barbecue. Zinfandels are also, that's an interesting thought I just had. Zinfandels are also very well known for their pepper and their spicy flavors, and obviously that goes very well with barbecue. So here I am tasting this Baba Bad Sheep. I'm getting spices, and the first thought that came to mind is that this would pair well with a barbecue. So I think maybe I might have nailed that one pretty easily there. So in any event, I would recommend that you go out and try to find this Baba Bad Sheep. And I think the thing to take away from this if you watched last night's wine tasting and tonight's wine tasting, I think the thing to take away from this is both of these were 2023 Shiraz from South Australia. In other words, they were from the very, very same region, the very same wine, grape, I should say, but yet they have a completely different taste. I think there's two reasons for that. Number one, it could be the terroir, which is the situation where the grapevines are. You know, one could have more moisture than the other. One could have a different type of rockier soil or a loamier soil than the others. But I think that being they're both South Australia, they should have been much more similar. So I think this is a case of, excuse me, I think this is a case of the viniculture. I think that the winemakers who made these two wines made them in two completely different styles. So that would be an interesting thought for some of you folks to do, is to buy two wines, same grape varietal. I don't care if they're Cabs or Merlots or Pinot Noirs, Shiraz, but buy two wines from the same grape varietal, from the same AVA or DOC or the same area where they were made. Taste both wines. See if there is a great difference in the taste. And if there is, I think you're going to find one of two things. You're going to find that either the winemakers made the wine differently, and the winemakers can manipulate the wine, and they can manipulate the flavor. They do that by how long they leave the wine on the skins, how long they age the wine, how do they age the wine, stainless steel, oak. Lots of ways to influence the taste of the wine. The other thing, of course, is you can get two wines, same grapes, from the same area. They could be 5 miles apart, but one could be on one side of a mountain, the other could be on the other side of the mountain. And the grapes are different. The climatic influences from winds or sun or rain, moisture, whatever, can change the complexity of the actual grapes on the vine, which will make the wine differently. But that's a good little thing for some of you folks who may be a little bit more interested in the wine than others, is to buy two bottles, same grape varietal. Obviously, it's going to be from two different wineries, but two wines, same varietal, same vintage, same year, from the same area, and taste them and see if you can notice a difference between the two of them. I'm going to have to try that myself because I haven't really thought about that before. Well, listen, tomorrow's a busy day. I'll be going to St. Luke's in the morning for the Sunday Eucharist and communion and everything. And then tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to be doing laundry, and then I'm going to be packing the truck up, and I'm heading off probably around 11 o'clock on Monday morning, and I'm heading over to the mountains of West Virginia, and I have no intentions of doing anything other than getting some lone time. I'm going to sit around. The smoke is really getting to me. I'm going to sit around the fire Monday night and Tuesday night, but I'm also going to visit one of the most beautiful parts of the United States, the mountains of West Virginia, the Monongahela State Forest, the Appalachian Mountains. And I have a lot of friends who've been to that area, and they've been giving me places to eat, breweries, even a winery is in the area. So I have a list of places that I might check out. I was really kind of surprised. I made the reservations 3 days ago, and there's like 67 campsites, and there was only 2 openings. I was really surprised there was an opening at the last minute, because this is peak foliage season in the mountains of West Virginia, and it's a beautiful year for foliage. And I'll probably post a picture of my backyard here sometime tonight, and you can see what the foliage looks like. But in any event, I snagged a reservation. There were 2 left. when I reserved a couple of days ago, and I got 2 of them, and I'm going to be gallivanting around to the wineries, the breweries, the restaurants, the pizza joints, but I want you to think about this. These are villages. These are not towns. This is the village of Davis and the village of Thomas in the Appalachian Mountains, and I would be surprised if either one had more than 2,000 people in it, if that many. But it's a resort area, so people travel to go there for the mountains and everything. So I plan on having a good time. I should be home Wednesday night sometime, and don't have any plans past that right now. I probably will work on firewood on Thursday and Friday. I've got to start harvesting. I have to keep an eye on the weather too, but I mean, I got beautiful weather for the trip. High is 71 one day and 71 the next day. Low is in the mid-40s, so you can't ask. Rain percentage on Monday is 1%. Rain precipitation for Tuesday is 2%. So I think I'm pretty safe on the rain. So, well, listen, everybody, I'm done rambling on here, and but try to compare a couple of wines from the same region, same varietal, same vintage, and see how they compare. Give you something to think about. Well, listen, let me set this up here, and let me put a little guard on it to keep the critters from flying in there and trying to steal my wine. Well, listen, everybody take care, and I don't know if I'll get a chance to do another wine podcast tomorrow night. I might try to do one up in the mountains if I can get a signal up there, which I have no idea if there's a cell signal or not. Well, listen, everyone take care, and I will see you later, and thanks for watching this. I don't know if he is still on, but motorcycle just went by. I don't know if he's still on, but my good camping friend Jay Fredrickson had checked in earlier. So Jay, if you're still on here and you've listened to the whole thing, thanks very much, my friend, and hopefully we can camp together in the very near future. Well, listen, everybody take care, and I will see you the next time. Bye.